Every day, we're bombarded with arguments from friends, ads, politicians, and social media, and some of them just don't add up, even when they sound convincing. Logical fallacies are the sneaky shortcuts people take when their reasoning breaks down, whether they realize it or not. In this video, we're breaking down the most common types of these flawed arguments, one by one, with real-world examples and simple visuals, so you can actually spot them in the wild. By the end, you'll be a much sharper thinker, debater, and consumer of information. Ad hominem happens when instead of addressing someone's argument, you attack their character, motives, or unrelated flaws. For example, if a scientist explains climate data and a critic snaps back, "You drive a gas-guzzling car, so your opinion doesn't count." That's a classic ad hominem move. The person's hypocrisy might be real, but it doesn't actually make their argument false. This shows up constantly in political debates, where candidates trade insults instead of engaging with the actual policy points. The giveaway is simple. Ask whether the response addressed the idea or just insulted the person who said it. If it's the person, not the point, the original argument still stands untouched. A straw man fallacy happens when you twist someone's argument into a weaker, more extreme version, and then knock down that easy target instead of the real position. Imagine a parent says, "Maybe we should limit screen time on school nights," and their kid replies, "So you want me to have no fun ever and live like a caveman?" That's a straw man. Nobody said no fun ever, but it's much easier to argue against that exaggeration. This tactic shows up everywhere, from family arguments to cable news, because torching an exaggerated version of an idea feels like a win, even though it proves nothing. The real argument, a modest and reasonable one, never actually gets addressed. Spotting it just takes one question. Is that really what they said, or a more extreme version of it? The false dilemma, also called false dichotomy, presents only two options when in reality there are more choices available. A classic version, you're either with us or against us, as if there's no room for nuance, neutrality, or a completely different third option. Advertisers love this trick too, framing it as buy our premium plan or accept a life of mediocrity, ignoring the many other products or paths that exist. This fallacy works because artificial extremes force people to pick a side quickly, without stopping to think about alternatives. Politicians, salespeople, and even well-meaning friends use it to corner you into their preferred choice. Whenever you hear only two options laid out, it's worth pausing and asking, what's being left out? A slippery slope argument claims that one small step will inevitably trigger a chain reaction of increasingly extreme consequences, without actually showing why each step leads to the next. A common example: if we let students retake this one test, soon everyone will demand retakes on everything, and the whole grading system will collapse. Maybe that's possible, but the argument skips over proving that each domino actually falls into the next one. Slippery slopes are especially common in debates about new laws or policies, where opponents predict a doomsday outcome from a modest first step. Sometimes a chain of consequences really can happen, so this fallacy isn't about denying all cause and effect. It's about assuming it without evidence. The fix is simple. Ask for proof of each individual step, not just a scary ending. An appeal to authority uses someone's status, fame, or credentials as proof that a claim is true, even when that person isn't actually an expert on the topic at hand. Think of a celebrity endorsing a supplement with, "I'm not a doctor, but trust me, this cured my fatigue." Their fame doesn't equal medical expertise. It's not always wrong to cite experts. Real specialists with relevant, verifiable knowledge are actually good evidence. The fallacy kicks in when the authority is irrelevant, unnamed, or simply famous rather than actually qualified in that specific field. Advertisements are packed with this trick, using actors in white coats to imply scientific backing that was never actually tested. The key question to ask is this person actually an expert on this exact subject? And can their claim be checked? Appeal to emotion tries to win an argument by triggering fear, pity, anger, or excitement instead of offering actual facts or logical reasoning. A charity ad might show a crying puppy in the rain to convince you to donate, without ever telling you where the money actually goes or how effective the program is. Emotions aren't inherently bad. They can highlight what matters, but they become a fallacy when they're used as a replacement for evidence rather than alongside it. News segments and political ads use this constantly, showing dramatic footage designed to make you feel before you get a chance to think. The tell is when strong feelings arise, but hard facts stay strangely absent. Ask yourself, am I convinced because of solid evidence, or because I just feel something strongly right now? The bandwagon fallacy argues that something must be true or good simply because lots of people believe it or do it. Everyone's buying this stock, so it must be a smart investment, is a textbook bandwagon claim, even though popularity says nothing about whether the stock is actually sound. Advertisers exploit this constantly with phrases like the nation's best-selling brand, nudging you to follow the crowd rather than evaluate the product yourself. Social media amplifies this fallacy too, since trending topics and viral posts can feel true purely because so many people are sharing them. Of course, sometimes the majority genuinely is right, so popularity isn't automatically wrong. It's just not proof on its own. The real test is whether there's actual evidence behind the popular opinion, separate from the fact that it's popular. Circular reasoning happens when the conclusion of an argument is basically just a restatement of its premise, so the argument goes in a loop instead of actually proving anything. A simple example. This app is the best because it's the highest quality app available. Quality and best are basically the same claim dressed up as two different reasons. It sounds logical on the surface because the sentence has the shape of an argument, but no new evidence has actually been introduced. You'll spot this in debates about rules or authority too, like the law is fair because it's the law, which just asserts the conclusion again as its own proof. Circular reasoning is sneaky because repeating a claim with different wording can feel like backing it up. The fix is to ask, is this reason actually different from the conclusion, or just the same idea said twice? A hasty generalization draws a broad conclusion about an entire group from a sample that's way too small or unrepresentative. If someone visits one city, gets bad service at a single restaurant, and declares everyone in this city is rude, that's a hasty generalization built on a sample size of one experience. This fallacy is everywhere in everyday assumptions about people, places, and products, because our brains love to spot patterns even from scraps of evidence. Online reviews suffer from this constantly, where a handful of angry one-star ratings get treated as proof a product is universally terrible. The problem isn't drawing conclusions from evidence, it's drawing conclusions from far too little of it. A good gut check is asking whether the sample size and variety are actually large enough to support such a sweeping claim. A red herring is an argument that throws in an unrelated topic to distract from the actual issue being discussed, hoping nobody notices the subject just changed. Picture a city council meeting about a pothole-riddled road, where an official responds by talking about how much crime has dropped this year instead of the roads at all. The new topic might be interesting, or even true, but it does nothing to actually answer the original question. Politicians use this constantly during interviews, pivoting to a favorite talking point whenever a tough question comes up. It works because a confident, detailed answer on a different topic can feel like a real response if you're not paying close attention. Spotting it just takes tracking the original question and noticing when the conversation has quietly wandered somewhere else. Post hoc, short for the Latin phrase after this, therefore because of this, assumes that because one event happened before another, the first one must have caused the second. A superstitious example. Someone wears a lucky pair of socks, their team wins, and they conclude the socks caused the victory, ignoring every other factor in the game. This fallacy fuels a lot of superstition, but it also creeps into serious debates, like blaming a new policy for an economic downturn that was actually already in motion beforehand. Timing alone is never enough to prove causation, since plenty of things happen right before other events purely by coincidence. Real cause and effect claims need actual mechanisms and evidence connecting the two events, not just a convenient sequence. Next time you hear this happened, then that happened, so this caused that, it's worth checking whether any real evidence links them. And there you have it. 11 of the sneakiest ways arguments go wrong, from personal attacks to fake causes and distracting red herrings. The real skill here isn't winning every argument. It's learning to separate solid reasoning from clever-sounding tricks in other people's arguments and your own. If this helped you see arguments a little more clearly, hit subscribe for more videos that make you think sharper every single day.